Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to the Fairfield County Council meeting on this day, Monday, April the 27th of 2026. At this time, let's please stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now I'd like to get approval of the agenda.
Second.
Been motion and second. If there's no questions, prepared to vote. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Let the record show 7-0. Now we have invocation by Councilman Dan Roof. Mr. Roof.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for everyone here tonight. Lord, we just continue to pray for this county, our citizens, this state, nation, and this world, and we just pray for peace, we just ask your blessings on everyone, that we all come together and unite. Lord, we just ask that as we meet tonight, discuss the business of the county, that everything we do and say would be according to your will. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Roof. Now, if I may get approval of the minutes, regular meeting on 4/13/26.
So moved.
Motion and second. If there's no questions, prepared to vote. All in favor? Opposes? Let the record show 7-0. Now we're down to public presentation, community and schools. Ms. Latasha Tace, if you would, please.
Good evening, members of County Council. My name is Latasha Tace, and I'm the Senior Director of Communities and Schools of South Carolina. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today and ask for your support of $30,000 to continue providing CIS services to residents in Fairfield County. Communities and Schools exist to ensure that the community is present inside our schools to help provide the support students need every day to thrive. I'd now like to turn it over to our site coordinator at Fairfield Elementary to share more about our direct impact on this work.
Hi, my name is Reginald Smiley. I serve as a site coordinator at Fairfield Elementary, working alongside Principal Richardson to support about 45 to 50 students. In my role, I help meet basic needs like food and clothing, while also providing case management services. We work with the principal, admin, and staff members, social workers, and guidance counselors to create individualized plans for youth facing challenges with behavior, attendance, graduation, and grade promotion. One of the most meaningful parts of my work is building relationships. Students often look to me whenever I arrive to the school. We even have special handshakes. It may seem small, but those moments build trust and character. Students also visit our CIS classroom space for daily check-ins and reinsurance, a safe space where they can talk and ask for help with decisions. These services are provided at no cost to families who need help locating resources such as utility assistance, food, and connections to community support services. We partner with Fairfield County School District, the Fairfield Forward Coalition, and Food Share to support students and families across the county, providing consistent support so students come to school prepared every day and ready to learn without distraction. Thank you for your time and opportunity to support communities and schools in Fairfield County.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support and consideration.
Now, we have the strategic plan draft update. Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, tonight we have with us Mr. Horn from MRB Group to present to you the draft of our strategic plan. As you remember, we have been talking about this for about a year, and then we started the process. We had 6 community meetings. We had opportunities for citizens to have input either in person or online or through written surveys to share with us what they wanted us to know. Strategic plan is critical because it gives us, I'm sorry, got candy in my mouth. I'm so sorry. I couldn't even talk. A strategic plan gives us the direction for our budgets as we go forward. So we know what we're trying to accomplish, and then using the budget as the tool, we start to accomplish that. So it's a very important part and a very critical role to make sure that we are using our resources that our citizens provide us to provide the county that they would want to see. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Horn to kind of walk you through it.
Good evening. It's great to be back here with you. I'll just start by saying we're so appreciative of the work that the county staff put into this effort. County Council, we enjoyed meeting with y'all and understanding your priorities and your vision for the future of the county, and to the community who came out and shared their vision and shared their priorities. It's definitely been a fantastic effort and a collaborative one. So we hope you see a lot of your suggestions and thoughts and ideas in the draft plan. I know you've all received a copy of the draft and of some recent updates. So the main goal here is tonight, share this with the community at large and with you all in a little bit more formal way. Happy to take any questions or ideas, but between now and next month, we hope to get some more formal feedback from you, and then you'll be in a position to adopt the strategic plan. At that point, and as the county manager notes, this then serves as your North Star, as your guide, as you make budget decisions, staffing decisions, resource allocation, and the like. So we're proud of Fairfield County for investing in what I think is a significant amount of planning, not just in this document itself or this effort, but in your countywide housing strategy and comprehensive plan and others that help fuel this plan. So the approach that we took to this, as the county manager laid out, we start by working with county staff to make sure we understand exactly what it is you're after, how you're going to use the strategic plan, what you hope to see in it, what the top areas of focus are for the county, and that helps guide us as we roll the plan out. We look at those past strategies and the existing plans that you have on deck. The idea here was, let's not create a whole bunch of new to-do lists. We got a lot of to-do lists already hanging around out there. We need to take all those existing plans and knit them in together into a 2-year roadmap and a 5-year look ahead in terms of how we're going to prioritize effort. So reviewing those existing plans and past strategies was a critical part of this. As the county manager points out, we did extensive public engagement with a whole host of stakeholder meetings, focus groups, and community listening sessions, as well as the time we got to spend with y'all on your particular areas of focus and priorities for the council. We took all of that information back, sat down with our team, sketched out what we heard, and shared that with your staff to help bring some focus around the plan and make sure that, again, what you see tonight is something that's meaningful to y'all and something that's meaningful and implementable to your team. That's the most critical piece here. Was we wanted to deliver you a document that your team could actually work on, actually work from, move that ball forward kind of consistently, and move the county forward. So where we start every planning effort is with a vision statement. So a vision statement is a reflection of what the county will look like 15 years from today if you do everything you set out to do in your plans, right? And your vision statement shows up in your comprehensive plan and in other areas. But for this, we wanted to make sure that we really heard from the community, we really heard from council and staff about what's important to Fairfield and what Fairfield looks like, again, 10, 15 years down the road. And I won't read every word on this, but some of the things that ring my tuning fork, that hit me in the belly when I think about this and think about what we heard, was this concept of shared prosperity, right? That the county is going to work toward creating wealth for all of our residents and making sure all of our residents are growing economically. That we're creating economic resilience so that the county can keep doing what it needs to do. That little flutters in the economy or little flutters in what's happening in the world outside this room don't knock you off your path. That's what economic resilience means to us. I love this idea, and we heard it a lot from you all, purposeful growth, right? This idea that we want to see growth. We need to see growth, right? We need to see some increase in residents. We need to see some increase in economic activity, but not at the expense of what you love, right? Not at the expense of your rural character, not at the expense of your small town feel. And that's where purposeful growth comes in. We love that. We talked with you about the agrarian traditions, your natural beauty, ponds, and pastures, right? How important that was to you all. And then this idea that as long as you want to live here, there'll be a place for you. That Fairfield County is a place where you can come and stay and raise a family and retire and be here for as long as you want. And so we think this vision statement really sums up what we heard from the community about the ideal county. And we think this plan puts you in a place to get there. But if you focus on everything, you focus on nothing, right? So if you're trying to do everything all at once, your resources get all scattered and spread out, and you really can't move any of your priorities forward. So what we did through listening to the community and listening to staff and the council was we asked the question, what 4 big chunky policy areas can we invest in, can you invest in, that's going to move you toward that vision statement the fastest? And the 4 areas that we landed on, number 1 is infrastructure. You cannot grow without infrastructure. You can't retain what you have without keeping your infrastructure up to date and modern and working really well. And infrastructure means lots of different things. Roads and highways, water and sewer, broadband, capital investments in your facilities. That's all the infrastructure work that needs to start and keep rolling to make sure that you've got a good base for growth, that you're ready for growth. Public safety and public services. Why do people want to live here? Why would people want to come to Fairfield County? They want to feel supported. They want to feel safe. They want to feel protected. We heard a lot out there about fire service, about EMS. Rural EMS is one of the biggest challenges all across the country, and you all are challenged with it right here today. Human services, how are we taking care of folks in the county? And then recreation centers and other opportunities for folks of all ages to be healthy and active in the community. Business growth and attraction, this is key, right? Bringing new money into the county, new jobs, new investment into the community. That means starting with what we have, business retention and expansion. Who's here, who's poised to grow, who's poised to add jobs, working with those folks to make that happen. Creating opportunities like a spec building. You've had success with that in the past, and you want to see that continue to build on your industrial park and opportunities to just making the path that much smoother for businesses to locate here. And then we heard a lot of this on the trail too about agribusiness. How do we take all of this great agricultural effort that's already taken place out there and generate some new value from that? And so there's some ideas in the plan about that. And then finally, housing. People need to have a choice. People need to have a variety in their housing. Folks who are very young and just getting started have different needs from folks who have been here a while and need to live in a different layout. And we want to be able to offer all of that to attract and retain residents. If you build up a bunch of jobs and you don't have the right housing behind it, then all we're going to do is be bringing folks in the morning and sending them home at night. And we want them here. We want them living here in Fairfield County. And so we saw these 4 focus areas as where you ought to put all your hustle, as much of your hustle as you can put behind these 4 priority policy areas. So I won't read every word of this. I know you all have it in the draft that was distributed, but the high points here are first we got to start with a capital improvement plan. Where are we going to put our resources first when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to public facilities? So things like farmers market, museum, water and sewer. You need to plan for all of that. You need to put a good multi-year, probably a 5-year capital improvement plan together, understand where the funds are going to come from, and tag somebody who's responsible for that. You want to partner with the state and other partners in the region on the challenge of failing septic, right? Failing septic systems in the region do damage to the natural resources that you value. They impede growth. You can't grow on a failing septic system. And so we want to identify opportunities to replace failing septic tanks. Where can we extend public sewer And how can we be thoughtful about that? Because a couple of lines down is looking at water. How can we deal with water effectively, public water effectively? Well, I promise you, where you put public water and public sewer, that's where growth is going to go. So you want to be thoughtful about that, right? You want to be purposeful about that. So you got to study that and understand, where does the land management ordinance tell us we're going to grow? That's where we're going to put our efforts in water and sewer and other infrastructure. That's not to say we're going to leave everything else alone, but to the degree that we have to prioritize, we prioritize where we want to see growth. On public services and public safety, we need to take a look at countywide fire. We need to understand where the gaps are in service and how best to deliver on the promise of public safety in those areas. You need to do this through what we've called a rural fire coverage improvement plan. It identifies those gaps and it makes recommendations around how to service those, whether it's new stations, new staffing, et cetera. One of the great things about Fairfield County is you got lots of partners in the area of human services delivery, and that includes folks like the schools who were here earlier talking, bringing all of those partners together to make sure that the folks who need help the most get that help, right? Get the support that they need. And so it can be daunting if you're a resident who's trying to get some services. There's a lot of agencies out there doing it, and they're not always perfectly aligned. And so what we're asking is that, or what the plan is suggesting, is that all of our public service agencies get in a room and coordinate and talk to one another and help make that system more navigable. We want you to take a look at your recreation facilities. Make sure that the programming there is optimized. Before we go out and build new facilities, before we invest heavily in our facilities, we want to know how they're used. We want to know what the opportunities are for improvement. We want to make sure utilization is maximized. Your rec team is doing a lot with this right now. We want you to keep doing it and make it really comprehensive. We want you to partner with the schools. We have to create a pipeline. One of the challenges with rural EMS and rural firefighting is it's heavily reliant upon volunteers, and the folks who are paid to do this work have to be highly trained. They have to really understand the landscape, everything from health to law and everything that goes along with that. And so we encourage you to work with your school districts, with Midlands Tech, to develop a career pathway program for fire and EMS. And then finally, as that workforce is starting to come along, creating some incentive opportunities for those folks. Identify funding through the SC Tech system and others to offer incentives and opportunities for additional retention and pay for those folks who are donating their time or offering their expertise. Under business growth and attraction, to the degree that you've got some folks out there in the workforce who are having a hard time getting to work, something that's almost as challenging as rural EMS is rural transit, moving folks around in the county on public transportation. So we'd like for you to take another look at that and understand how the routes are laid out today and how they might be optimized to support the jobs that are already there today and getting folks to the jobs that are already there today. We see tonight on your agenda, you've got an update from your Economic Development Director. That's critical. Keep that coming. Make sure that's happening on a regular basis. Council needs to understand what projects and opportunities out there, because your decision making has to be like this. We can't table and table and table, because these businesses have options and alternatives. And so county council and staff have to put themselves in a position where decision making can move quickly. Doesn't mean saying yes to everything. Doesn't mean compromising your values or your approach. It just means getting to the answer as quickly and efficiently as possible. We suggest a new spec building, probably located in one of your industrial parks. Again, this just makes the opportunity for businesses to locate that much smoother, that much more quickly. It's working all around the state, and we know it can continue to work here. We want to understand what the infrastructure looks like at each of these key interchanges. That's where growth is likely to happen the fastest, right? That's where we know we've got opportunity, where we've got visibility at the interstate. We need to put ourselves in a position that we can go to DOT and say, hey, we've got projects identified and ready to go. We just need you to fund them and implement them. The more planning you do on your end, the more likely you are to get additional funding from the state. And then finally, we'd like for you to work with your local farmers, the chamber, the resource authority to identify agribusiness opportunities. How can we translate farming into value-add manufacturing and processing and keep that right here in the county so that it's not wandering off? All of that agricultural horsepower that you have should stay here and benefit the county. And then the last two-year action plan, it focuses on housing. You've got a great housing study. We were excited to partner with you on that. We'd love for County Council to get that adopted and get the ball rolling on it, get it moving. To that end, the plan calls for, and we recommend that you establish a housing committee who's responsible for moving that forward. Everybody up here has a primary job, and so if you're asked to take on housing, we need to make that work as easy as possible for you. And a committee who's stewarding that and shepherding those projects forward, evaluating the plan constantly to make sure it still makes sense, calling on resources, calling on partnerships, all of that's critical. There's some existing land and buildings out there that are municipally owned, whether owned by the county or the towns, that could be suitable for housing. And so what we want you all to do is go out and inventory that land, identify the properties that are most suitable for housing development, and consider engaging with some developers to translate that land into housing. You know, Fairfield County is fortunate in that it's still relatively affordable, but the more you can do to sweeten the pot, the more you can do to at least highlight your assets and tell developers, this is what we want, this is where we want it, you'll see a lot more movement in that market. And then I think I probably said this to a couple of y'all when we were down the last time, but this idea of feasibility fees, impact fees, to make sure we're pushing as much of the cost of new services onto the developers is critical. My favorite line comes from one of my old Beaufort City Council members. He used to say, the been heres ain't gonna pay for the come heres. And that's what impact fees can do. Or developer agreements can do. They can make sure that to the degree that additional infrastructure needs to be extended, to the degree that additional facilities are needed to support growth, that the growth itself is covering those costs. And there are opportunities for you to do that. Well, it helps if I put the right slide up. So beyond the two-year action plan, we've got a five-year strategy laid out here. And again, we won't go through all of this, but I encourage you to review it. Effectively, we know that 2 years is a good window to say, here's what we're going to get our arms around today. This is what we want the county team to start working on today. These 5-year plans are much more susceptible to moving around. And so you want staff to keep an eye on those, make sure that they're staying in the queue as things roll off your 2-year plan. Your 5-year strategies start to roll on. But these all fall in line with those same 4 priority areas: infrastructure, public services and safety, housing, and economic development. And then finally, we want to make sure that the public is engaged and involved in the success of this plan. And so the last deliverable associated with the plan is the creation of a dashboard for the 2-year action plan. And what that's going to do is hang out there on your website, and your staff's going to continuously update it as progress happens on these strategies. So if county council has a question about where a certain project is, if the community has a question about where a certain project is, they'll all be lined up right there on your dashboard. And if things seem to be lagging, or if the status doesn't change over a couple of months and you want to know what's going on, you can pinpoint it right there and encourage staff to continue moving on it. So that's the draft of the plan. As we note, we know you've had it for just a couple of weeks now. We're hoping you'll take a little more time to digest it and to provide us with feedback. We're thankful for the feedback we've already received from you and from your team. And we'll continue to evolve this thing, and would like to put it back in your hands to consider adoption in May.
Anyone have any questions? Mr. Cobalt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you and the MRB group. I think you did a really good job of taking, first of all, the 4 strategy areas that we talked about initially and were really reinforced by the citizen input sessions. I think there was very much alignment between those four and what we heard from the citizens, so that was a good first step. But I'd like to compliment y'all on making this with no fluff and no consultant speak. It's very easy to read. It's very logical. I like the way it's laid out. The 2-year focus on the 2-year action plan with, accountable, responsible parties is something we really need to have and will be very useful along with the dashboard. So I thought it was a very well done draft, and I think we'll probably get some comments, maybe combine the comments and get them to you instead of trying to pepper you tonight
Sure.
with this. But thank you very much. I think you all did a good job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Anyone else? Mr. Carpenter?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, I'd just like to reiterate a few things. First of all, this is a document, even though it is a draft, there is I'll almost say expectation that council will communicate any changes that you think need to be made or any information that would make it a better document to them. And then council would adopt that once it has had that process followed at our meeting in May. We're already using this in building the budget, as I've been talking to you all about that and trying to show you where we're building into the budget aspects of it that, as he pointed out, and as Norm pointed out, must be done. They're critical for where we're going. So we're already building that into the budget. And so just wanted you to know, I know one of the biggest failures of plans is that they get put on a shelf sometimes and nothing ever happens to it. And if you don't put resources towards it, then nothing will ever happen to it. So the budget that will be presented in discussion, by title only tonight, does include necessary steps forward that the plan calls for. Also, as far as the dashboard is concerned, staff is fully aware that the expectations are they will keep that dashboard current, because that's another downside is dashboards that aren't current. They're 4 months out of date, 7 months out of date. They don't communicate effectively anything. So our commitment is to make sure that the dashboard works, that people looking at it can get many, if not most, of their questions answered just by looking at that. And are we taking this plan seriously? I know that, just to point out, again, Mr. Toledo and Gene were very involved in putting this together as well, with staff, of course, Mr. Burrows. Gentlemen, is there anything that you want to have input in? Joseph? Thanks.
Yeah, just to reiterate what MRP said. So a lot of the growth that we're not getting, right? Everybody's complaining about housing. We don't have enough housing. We don't have enough middle income housing. It's all related to infrastructure. It's all related to public services or lack thereof. So when a developer contacts us saying, hey, let us know what areas are prime for growth, we don't have the confidence in saying, yes, we have the infrastructure capacity today to meet your needs. So what happens? Those developers leave, or they go ahead and minimize the development that they're looking to pursue. So just to reiterate, I mean, it's all connected, and all these investments are going to benefit from one another. So the ultimate goal is growth pays for growth. So when you make those investments in the infrastructure, then that's when you're essentially creating a blank slate to open that conversation with the developer to say, hey, this is the capacity we have. What are you looking to do? One's not going to come before the other. And it's this constant conversation of, is it the chicken before the egg? So that's what MRB and that's what the plan of the strategic plan is in order to put those investments where they need to be. So when we do have those conversations with developers, we do say, hey, these are the investments we're making regarding infrastructure. This is where we're expecting to be within the next 3 years. What is your timeline for construction looking to be like? And to really narrow that down in specific growth nodes that have been identified in the comprehensive plan, which is really focusing on Winsboro, Ridgeway, up along 321 as well, are some of the major growth corridors, and along Highway 34. So those nodes really pushing the infrastructure in that area, so we can go ahead and have those conversations with developers to bring that housing in. So that's all.
So the plan will be to have this in front of council in May, hopefully for approval and adoption. So thank you.
I'd like to thank MRB and everyone that's been involved in getting us this draft, and the council for participating in all of the meetings and things like that, because it's definitely something that will enhance our future here in Fairfield County. Thank you, sir, for your presentation.
Thank you all.
Now we're down to a public comment session. Dr. Roberts, do we have anyone?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council. No one signed up to speak.
Public hearing. Dr. Roberts, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. An application and expenditure for the 2026 JAG Grant, Justice Assistance Grant Fund. At this public hearing, Fairfield County will provide information concerning the proposed use of the funds in an identified program purpose.
We'd like to open it up for discussion with the public at 6:31. Do we have anyone signed?
No one signed up to speak, Mr. Chair.
Okay, all right, we close it at 6:31. Now we're down to item 9, which is the ordinance, resolution, and order. Dr. Roberts, if you would, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. First reading by title only, ordinance number 854, an ordinance to establish operating and capital budgets for the operation of the county government of Fairfield County for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2026, to provide for the levy of taxes for Fairfield County for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026, to establish fees and service charges for Fairfield County for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026, to provide for the expenditure of tax revenues and other county-related funds, and to provide for certain fiscal matters and other matters related to county government.
Give me a motion and second. There's no explanation of this. Are you prepared to vote? All in favor? Let the record show 7-0. Item B, Dr. Roberts.
Second reading, ordinance number 853, an ordinance to consider the request to amend the Fairfield County Land Management Ordinance number 599 and the related zoning map to provide for the rezoning classification from RD1 Rural Residential District to B2 General Business District to allow for a retail store and or venue space use, tax map number 186-01-14-008-000, located at 1053 U.S. Highway 21 South, Ridgeway, South Carolina, 29130, owned by Kevin and Clarithia Glover. Note the Fairfield County Planning Commission approved this rezone request.
Okay, may I get a motion? A motion is second. Any, Mr. Roof, yes.
Yeah, I just comment again that there's been an existing business right beside this location for many years. It was Hollis Grocery there for many, many years. And they have really converted this house into, it's really, really coming along very nicely and be a great asset to Ridgeway. And I will say that I messed her, Clarita is her legal name, but she goes by Laverne. I'm sorry I messed it up last week. But anyway, hope everybody will be in favor of this, because I think it could be a great addition. And her dad Donald's here again, so good to have you.
All right. You prepared to vote? All in favor? Opposed? Let the record show 7-0. Okay, now we're down to board and commission minutes, none. Board and commission appointments. Aeronautics is Ms. Tiffany Burrows. I understand Ms. Burrows is not here, but we need to make a motion. Can I get a motion on? Okay, the motion is second. There's no question. All in favor? Oppose it? Let the record show 7-0. Old business, none. New business, JAG grant approval. Mr. Compton.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, we just had the public hearing for the JAG grant approval. This is a proposal presented to us by the Sheriff's Office. This requires no local match. It is a program that we have participated in for many years with great success. I do know that we have representatives in the Sheriff's Office if you have any questions about the grant, but it comes to you with our recommendation for approval.
Now get a motion.
Mr. Chairman. Go ahead, Doug. At the on item number 8 on this agenda, the public hearings, it said at this public hearing, Fairfield County will provide information concerning the proposed use of the funds, but I haven't heard anything. So can we have someone speak to that? What the proposed use of the funds are?
So with the vehicles that we just recently got, several of those were trucks. And we need a place to put some of the equipment, especially for the guys that are on the SRT team also. And this is a system that will go in the back of the trucks. It's a drawer pull-out system that's secure, and they'll be able to keep their equipment in there and keep it safe and locked, waterproof, all that. So it's an opportunity for us to get this equipment through a grant instead of asking the county to pay for it. Okay.
Any other questions? Prepared to vote? All in favor? Opposes? The record shows 7-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we're down to County Administrative Report. Mr. Carpenter, turn it over to you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to start with a presentation from Ms. Ann Broadwater on an update for the council and our community on economic development in this county, some of the great things that have happened, that are happening, and that will be happening. Ms. Broadwater?
Good evening, and thank you. Can we start? Is there a way to get the full screen? Okay, thank you. Fairfield County Economic Development aims to increase opportunities for its residents and enhance the quality of life within its communities. An idea of our project pipeline, if you take a look, we've got about 8 active prospects, 2 shortlisted, between 5 and 6 leads, and then 1 that's postponed. And what we do there is we've developed a process where we meet weekly and move projects forward and off of our pipeline to make sure that we're putting our time where it needs to be. So that may look small, but we've got a lot going on. Now I'd like to talk about the East Peach Road industrial site. Here it is. We recently announced that we were able to purchase all of the property for this wonderful economic development ready site. Give you an idea of the timeline, these things don't just happen overnight. This is something that was part of our planned industrial product development. And in July of 2020, the county actually entered into an option agreement with the first right of a refusal, easy for me to say, with Weyerhaeuser. In January of 2021, a master plan was developed, and the site actually received Palmetto Site certification in January 28th of 2021. Now, a site certification only lasts 5 years before you have to go through the process again. So the fact that we were able to make this deal happen simultaneously with putting it through the Palmetto Sites recertification process means a lot. February of 2021, the county purchased the first parcel of the park, which is the corner of Syrup Mill and Peach Road. It's about 66.34 acres. And then in February, we strategically purchased 33 acres adjacent to that to put the regional wastewater pump station on. Okay, November of 2024, we received a $500,000 grant from the Department of Commerce to create an entranceway to the park. That's currently underway and should be completed by June of this year. Did we skip? We skipped over some stuff. Okay. April of 2026, this is supposed to slide through, we were able to close on the remaining acres, bringing the park to 462 total acres. Actual projects, recent announcements. Folks want to know what's going on with BOMAG Fayette Group. Their building was fully completed and the employees started occupying the new facility in January. Their first milestone was relocating existing BOMAG inventory of 28,000 parts to the new distribution center, and that was achieved in February. They've got about 29 employees already at the DC, and they plan on adding additional headcount in the summer. Stay tuned, they have some more exciting news that you'll be hearing about on Friday. Mega Metal. Mega Metal currently has 22 employees, and they're going to start hiring more this month. They'll have about 75 to 80 by the end of this year. They're planning to start production trials in May, and by the end of July, they will be up and running. Their furnace is supposed to come online in August, and they're planning on making their first sale at the end of June, and the building improvements are 90% complete. With the hiring, they will be participating in the annual job fair with the Fairfield County WIOA on May the 7th. So folks who are interested in applying for those jobs, please participate. Existing industry updates. One of the things that was talked about was taking care of your existing industries and making sure that they have what they need to grow in the county. We are in the process of planning our next existing industry roundtable, and the roundtables are a critical tool for proactive economic development. It provides a structure in which we can connect local employers with subject matter experts, resources, and peer insights that support retention and expansion. We're looking at our next round of existing industry site visits. We're calling on companies all the time, making sure that we know any issues that they have before they become an issue that we can't overcome. We have direct contact letting us know if they do have expansion plans, what they would look like, and how we might help them with those. Some of the existing industries that are currently hiring, which is a sign of of being steady and growing in the county and providing opportunities. We have Mecra Lang, they've got 8 open positions. Breakthrough Beverages has 10. Bomax got 14 open, and again, stay tuned. Luckstone's got 1. Element Electronics has 5 across all of their locations, and Isola Group has 12 open positions. So there are jobs out here, folks. Get out there and get involved. One of the things that we like to let them know about is the Midlands Technical College has a quick jobs program, and what that allows is for folks to complete in a few weeks or up to a few months the training that will allow them to go take advantage of some of these jobs. They've got programs in advanced manufacturing, business, English, humanities, science, information technology, engineering, and math, and personal enrichment. So if you want more about that, if you want to scan the QR code, then you can look at some of their offerings. And they do have some available right here at Midlands Tech Fairfield County campus. Last project I'd like to update you on was something that my associate was asked to do. Is one of his jobs falls under other duties as assigned. Well, the administrator had him doing a couple of projects, of which this was one. You can come up, Mr. Devarius McDonald.
Good evening, and so just wanted to update you guys on the Zion Hill Community Development Block Grant project that we got this grant back in 2019, and unfortunately we have not been able to finish it out just due to a lot of things going on. But we're back on track. The grant should be closed out come August of this year. And with this grant, what we're doing is we're tearing down some of the dilapidated houses in the Zion Hill neighborhood. We're at approximately 7 houses, 2 of them being county-owned, 5 of them are privately owned by different families in that neighborhood, and then also revitalizing that park down there. So one of the things you probably noticed if you rode past it is that park is kind of bare now. So what we're doing is putting in a new playground equipment. They're also putting in some exercise equipment as well and redoing some of that landscaping. And again, that should be complete come August, completely closed out.
All right. Thank you. Anyone have any questions about our program and future activities?
Council.
I just thank you for what you're doing. Sounds like y'all doing a great job and got a lot going on. Looking forward to Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your support, because without it, we couldn't do what we do.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Ann? So if you could, one of the your early points about the Peach Road site and acquiring the land for that, how many parcels do we currently have that an industry could come in and build upon?
Well, right now, we just got ownership of the project
I'm sorry, in our current industrial park.
in Fairfield Commerce Center. Because of some of the infrastructure issues that are there, we only have 2 viable sites that we can locate companies on, and we're showing them every day.
And this project to get the Peach Road site up and running will take a little bit of time to develop it. So our 2 sites in a year to 2 years reasonably could be gone. So that's, members of council, why this park is so critical for us. I know some of the community wondered why we're putting all this money in land when we have empty sites. We really don't have empty sites because it's such a long lead time in getting industry in and developing a site that we need to be doing this now. So I certainly thank this council and previous councils for the decisions they made so that Ann could start getting the necessary resources that she needs to keep marketing this county.
And then the others at Walter Brown 1 and 2, we have 1 parcel that's available, and it's limited.
One more thing. You said there's only 2 available in the Commerce right now because of the infrastructure.
Correct.
When that infrastructure is finished, how many will there be then available?
How many do we have? About 10.
Okay. And how long do we expect that to be before infrastructure?
Well, it would be dependent upon when we get the funds to correct the issues that we have in place.
Yeah.
It's a significant investment to remedy those issues well into the many millions of dollars.
But we're making progress.
The infrastructure includes water, wastewater, electricity, power, all of the above?
All of the above.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, the next item that I want to talk to you about is just kind of an update of where we're going at the animal shelter. Last time we kind of addressed some previous issues, and our focus now is going forward. So I just want to share with you some of the very positive and good things that are happening out there. Of course, one of the main ones that people are interested in is our volunteer program and the development of such a program. A program template has been come up with that goes over the necessary steps for volunteers, background checks, things like that, to ensure that people coming into the organization are people that will do well around animals. Also, training program for them as well, a syllabus of the various things that need to be taught, a determination of who would do the teaching as well. Staff has reviewed it. We've had other shelters look at it and give their input. Now we're having people in the community and more sets of eyes is giving us thoughts and input to make sure the plan is the best that it can be. So that is progressing forward. It would be my expectation that we're able to roll it out in May. So I told you that I would get this done, we would get this done, I should say, as fast as we can so that we're not losing opportunity. And I appreciate very much the support of volunteers, of people who want to be volunteers, reaching out to us and letting us know. So that's a very good and positive sign for all that. Also wanted an update, of course, there have been questions about capital work to be done out at the shelter, and several things that are underway. Just to give you an update on that. We're doing significant electrical work out there. To allow us putting oscillating fans in the outdoor runs. Of course, they're outdoors, and when it gets to be 90, 100 degrees, it just is something that makes the life a little simpler for them. Electric to a new puppy building would also meet their electrical needs. Drainage, very significant drainage issues on that property, and addressing those. We have outdoor runs that have no drainage, which means all the refuse from the kennels goes into the grass right next to the kennels. So we're fixing that. Also making sure that we have water and electricity to those runs as well. Right now, water has to be brought down with a hose. There's no water right there. So running the necessary lines to that. Working on that. A new building for a cat intake building, moving it to allow the puppy farm, or as I call it, but the puppy palace, puppy building, to be built there, so puppies coming in would have one safe space. And it's important that you segregate puppies from the general population. Parvo diseases like that need to be kept contained, as well as that. Again, the cat building as well, running the water down there. And then finally, but as important as anything, is our camera and security system. Currently looking to put 26 cameras out there on the property between external and interior cameras to ensure that we have the coverage that people expect us to have out there. So those are some of the projects that are going on out there. So the capital improvements are underway. They'll either be finished by the end of June or well underway by the end of the June when this budget year ends. Again, the volunteer program being developed as well, and then working with staff for training and development. So that is my update on the animal shelter. Any questions from y'all?
I don't have a question, but I like Puppy Palace. But if you're going to have a Puppy Palace, you need a cat corner. Just saying. Thank you.
I'll take that under advisement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Mr. Carpenter, for the update. Last meeting, you invited us to visit the animal shelter, and I took the opportunity to do that 2 Fridays ago. And I spoke with the 5 staff members that were there, and I have to say I was very impressed with their dedication, their passion for caring for the animals. We had a couple good laughs about some things, so I think the morale is starting to turn around. So, and the same list of projects I heard tonight was the same list they talked to, so communication chain is intact. But I want to thank you for, what's happening there. And they have plans beyond what you listed here, which will even make it even better. So thank you.
Anyone else?
And then finally, tonight I just wanted to give an update to council and the community on the budget calendar. As all these things are, they're always a draft until they actually happen. So I do have some changes to the calendar that we've discussed. Tonight, of course, is first reading of the budget, and that is on schedule. Originally, the second reading would be in May, but we only have one meeting in May, and that's going to be in 2 weeks. So we're not going to be in a position where we can have numbers in front of everyone in 2 weeks. So moving the second reading of the budget to the meeting on June 8th, with a third and final reading on June the 22nd. It is my preference to have the budget done early. However, having said that, most counties in the state follow that schedule, and they have second and third readings, normally the last 2 meetings in June. Part of that is because we're still waiting to receive some significant updates and information on costs and revenues. The state of South Carolina is a notorious deadbeat, and they don't pay their bills on time or do anything like that, so we generally don't know till June a lot of the data we need to get from them. So that's actually better in that respect for it to be happening. Looking to do some work sessions. Some of these dates I'm going to put out, but there's probably a chance because they're work sessions that they may be tweaked or adjusted based on y'all's calendar. I'll be working with our clerk to set those meetings up with y'all. But right now, my initial would be the first work session on May the 7th. The next work session, and again, this might need to change, but on May the 18th, and then a third, if needed, on June the 4th. We can always, again, add meetings or take meetings away, but the idea is the first meeting, the first work session would be for outside agencies to present to the council and A&H as well, to get in front of you those requests so you can answer questions there. The next meeting would be elected officials and our major departments. And then the third work session, if needed, would be to go over the rest of the budget as council sees fit or any other things council wants to discuss. In the interim, another reason why I wanted to move second reading to June is I feel it's very important that I get out there and talk to our citizens about our budget. So town halls. So 2 weeks is obviously not enough time to get town halls. I'd prefer to do one in every district, so that would be at least 7 town halls. So that would give me 5 weeks to do those town halls, which is doable. So that's another reason to kind of back the budget schedule up a little bit. So those are the changes that I'm looking to make, and if you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Mr. Bell.
Mr. Carpenter, when can we expect to, or if we will, receive any information from the state level about any earmarks, fundings that may be coming to the county?
Well, they are wrapping up their regular session. So they're about to the point where bills can't cross over anymore, and then they just clean up what's out there and try to get to a final version. Then the House and the Senate have to meet because they're never the same. So they have to go into committee and come up with a resolution that both houses will validate and support. Of course, then it goes to the governor, and the governor has veto power over line items in the budget in many cases. And it then goes back to the General Assembly if he's vetoed anything, if they wish to override his veto. So I say all that to say that it'll be definitely in June before we have final sense of what the budget is. But we'll have a general sense, in May, we'll start seeing what's being put into the budget. And normally, if there's going to be resistance to it, we can determine that and see if it affects us. We have put in some requests for support from the General Assembly for some projects in this county, and so we'd be keeping an eye on those at that point.
You have a time or date for those work sessions?
Well, that's what I'm going to get with the clerk to kind of work with y'all on whether they're daytime, night times, whatever. So I know those of you that have jobs, obviously you can't always take off. So working with y'all's schedule for that. So that's why I'm still kind of, after we've talked to all of y'all and she's kind of working her magic, it may turn out that, well, that date's just not going to work. Or we need to do this one at 2 o'clock, but that one at 6 o'clock. So.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Okay. All right, now we are down to the clerk of council report. None. County council time. Any councilman wish to say something? Mr. Gass.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to thank Mr. Carpenter and his team and also Public Works for coming into District 6 and helping tear down the abandoned houses y'all did on Monday. And I got nothing but good praises about that, so we can tear down some more. And also, I'm inviting the public to come to District 6. They're having a community day on May the 16th, sponsored by United Lodge and myself on that community day from 10 to 2. So everything's free, so come out to support District 6 on the community day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Ms. Ranger?
I want to say something. I want to get this on my day. Okay, so Blair Day was really good. If y'all never been to Blair Day, where the parade is and all the food is, you've missed out. Any kind of food you wanted, it was there. But we had a very good showing. 4 of us council members were there, and some of them learned how we ride in the back of the pickup trucks out in Blair, how we do it out there in the country. That's all I'm going to say, okay? But we had a very good time. If you missed it, you need to do it next year.
Also, I would like to inform the community that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission will be doing their annual assessment, and that will be at the Recreation Center at Lake Monticello on Thursday, April the 30th at 5:30. I think it's very important for the citizens of Fairfield County, and not just District 4, Lake Monticello, Jenkinsville, Dawkins, and all those areas on the lake to come, but it's important that all citizens of Fairfield come and hear what the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is saying, and this is their annual assessment on basically the entire county. Thank you.
Anyone else? I want to say thank you to all of the volunteers that volunteer to do work here in Fairfield County. You are very much appreciated. On a couple weeks ago, we had a volunteer appreciation event I thought went very well. And, things just don't go well when you don't have volunteers to step. You can't have a staff. A staff cannot do everything. You have to have volunteers to come in and help with different things that you're doing as a county, trying to run a county. So my hat's off to the volunteers. Thank you so much for what you're doing for Fairfield County. We really appreciate you. I also like to add on to the animal shelter. When I went up there, I want to thank all of the employees at the animal shelter for doing a remarkable job. Yes, we got a bad rap, but I promise you, if you go to that animal shelter now, you will be impressed. You had went about a year or so ago, you would not have been, but you could be impressed with what's going on up there. And thank you, volunteers, for all that you do for Fairfield County. Ms. Ruth?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well said about the animal shelter. Yeah, a year or so ago, it was not the same. It was pretty disturbing. But one other thing, just got announced today that our EMS department earned the first ever gold designation from the American Heart Association. And this has to do with being able to respond to people with heart attack, stroke, cardiac emergencies, and how the whole process from the 9/11 call to getting to the hospital is all linked together. So congratulations to our EMS folks. Well done, and it makes me feel better that you're all equipped like that.
Can I say something else?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, I don't know how many of you know about this, but talking about EMS, they will come out, and I've had, I guess, 6 or 7 churches in District 3. EMS will come out and do a 3-hour training. They'll do it on Saturdays, or they'll do it on, I think he said Tuesday night or Thursday nights, and you'll be CPR trained, and you know, like if you cut your leg off, what to do, whatever, that would happen. But anyway, and they've had a great turnout. So if any of you interested in your churches, because, you know, like they'll have 8 or 10 people, they don't really want, I don't think, any more than 15. But I haven't taken it, but I've gotten a lot of them lined up. And if any of your churches are interested in it, you need to get in touch with, you know, Tim at EMS, and they'll get it on their program. Thank you.
Okay, if I could get a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm pardon.
If I could just make one comment. I appreciate all of y'all that have been out to the shelter, and hopefully everyone will get a chance to. The staff we have is dedicated, committed, and exceptional. Any issues in the past are not staff. And so our staff are good people that are out there. I just want to make sure that you know, we say that we are in a better place than we were, no question. And that's because of the staff. And they've done a great job out there. And so, again, we're improving. We're getting better by the day. And I just, again, want to give all the kudos I can that any situations that we have improved upon, it's not because of the staff. So thank you all very much for what you're doing to support them.
If I could get a motion to adjourn? Okay. The motion is second that we adjourn. Are you prepared for question? All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. This meeting is now adjourned.